Okay, class, this video is a quick wrap-up. Now that I'm finished making wonderful videos for all of you, it is time to clean up. So, just to help you get in the habit of cleaning up properly, appropriately, and getting good habits in place, I'm going to show you exactly how we should do this. I have my specimen here. Sitting on my tray. I have the tools that I've used in this particular session. I've used my scalpel, my spear, my forceps, and my scissors. So I'm going to take those. I'm going to set those off to the side. I will wash those with soap and water in my sink, and then set them out to dry. Okay. Actually, I'm going to set them back in my beaker. But before I do that, I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and I'm going to set that in there so that when I do put them in there, being wet, they're something to absorb the water and keep them from getting ruined. These blades do have the tendency to get just a touch rusty if they're left wet. So we will leave those in there in said fashion. Okay, once I have those cleaned up, it's time to take care of the specimen. I'm going to take the bag that it originally came in, and I'm going to pick it up. This works best when you have your lab partner. Being solo today, I will do my best. I'm going to pick it up by its forelimbs, and I'm going to set it, place it in the bag. Once I have it in the bag, I will gather up the top of it, give it a twist. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to let all the air out. Now, I did not spray it today because this is a fresh and new specimen. The next time I get it out, I will do so. Because I don't have a whole lot to work with there, I'm going to make sure that I use my rubber bands really well and get it fairly tight without breaking the rubber bands and snapping myself with them. Okay. I like to fold it over and do it that way. Unfortunately, the size of the bag is not permitting me to do so. Once I've done that, there's going to be an extra bag that you will have. This, you will then take the specimen. There's a little bit of extra preservative on there, so I'm going to wipe that off real quick before I put it into the second bag. So, I then have my specimen in the second bag. I again will get as much air out as possible. I'm going to gather, twist, loop it over. Then I'm going to take rubber band number 1. And rubber band number 2, just to make sure in case they break. From there, I will take my specimen. I'm going to put it on the cart that's provided for everybody. Once we get them all on the cart, and we can easily roll them into the prep room so they're out of the way for the next class. For now, I'm going to set this aside. What I'm now left with is the tray, and it has some tissue sitting on there. It has some extra fluid. I'm going to clean that up. Make sure that if you have a lot of fluid, you can dump that in the sink, but make sure there are no tissues that go in there. It does clog our sinks fairly easily. Right. I'm going to wipe off as much of the extra fluid as I can. much of the tissues as I can, getting it as clean as possible. Once I have done that, the first time you do this, there's most likely going to be some fur after you've skinned your cat, and that will take a little bit extra time. If you have a furry cat or furry specimen, it will be take a little extra effort the first time. Once you get it off, it's not particularly an issue. From there, I'm going to take a disinfectant. I'm going to spray down my tray, and then I'm going to wipe it down again. So it is clean. Now, when I'm complete, or when I'm finished with that, I am going to take my tray, and I'm going to put it on the cart as well. Because these are still going to be somewhat damp, especially if you have rinsed them off or had a need to do so, we're going to lay them in an alternating pattern. So when you put yours on, put it on top of the previous tray in said fashion, and we'll be able to slide them away. Make sure you clean up your table as well. We now have your lab space that will possibly have some extra fluids or other things that may have spilled, because there are other students that are going to be using this space. It does need to be as clean as it was prior to getting there, and as clean as possible. So spray it, make sure you spray it down, wipe it down, and be respectful for the next group of students that are going to be using your space.